So again, Mega Man IDU came from Mulan, right? And one of the reasons I was upset about this when I originally heard about this song, I heard about the movie, was because they said that there was going to be no singing, there was going to be no Mushu, which when I thought about Lion King, with them bringing back James Earl Jones, I was thinking, oh, if they when they announced that they were going to do Mulan, I was like, oh, they're probably going to bring back Eddie Murphy because it's a voice talent. It's not actually it's not him actually acting. But of course, they didn't do that, so I was upset about that. Then they released the previews, and I thought the movie was going to be dope. And then Zino and I had that conversation on episode 2, where we talked about how has this affected the movie industry. And I said that actually I wasn't 100% certain if we were going to get it, but I got overwritten by the missus, so we decided to go ahead and get it. And then actually my sister-in-law and her kids are actually supposed to be coming over pretty soon to watch it. So I told her, you better charge them something.
How long does the rental last?
So that's actually the cool thing about the Premier Access, right? Because Disney can afford it. So you pay the $30, then you have it forever, because as long as you stay a Disney Plus member, you have it. Of course, the difference is once it gets released to all Disney Plus, then it's still going to be there. But you basically have it to watch it as many times as you want from now until I believe they're going to release it sometime at the end of November. So you have it for like a good extra 2 months.
That's
so
good.
It's not bad, especially if you get people to come over to watch it. We're not really charging. We're not going to charge our sister-in-law or our brother-in-law, but
Sure.
Actually, I've thought about getting a screen in the backyard and then just putting it outside, and then we could do our own little drive-through for the kids. But anyways, so the movie was released. I did get to watch it. My wife wanted to see it, so we did get to watch it. I did heavily enjoy it. It's kind of like you talked about Aladdin, where they kind of made it for the masses, and it's they made it for the masses in the sense that for this generation, right? It talks about woman empowerment. It talks about, she's trying to save her father from going to war. Same situations going on with the movie. It's still the same principle. It's just kind of the way they did it. They kind of made it where it was more about woman empowerment versus, I don't know, some people could probably raise the whole thing about it's about saving the male patriarchy or some, I'm pretty sure somebody can write a whole essay on how the original Mulan is that or whatever. Real quickly, if you do get to watch it, there is a cameo from, what's her name? Ming-Na Wen? Yeah, there's a cameo from her in the movie somewhere. So if you blink, you might miss her, but she does play a part, or she does do a quick cameo, so it's pretty cool.
Do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. Don't say nothing about the last season because I haven't seen it yet.
No, I love it too. I was asking because obviously Agent May.
Yeah, because obviously she's in there. So if you haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the original Mulan, watch it because of her. So obviously the movie got released. Now, after the movie's been released, there seems to be a lot of controversy about it, right? There seems to be a lot of so first there was some controversy prior to where the lead actress basically supported the police when it came to for them cracking down on certain particular protests, which of course that can be something that can resonate with us here because similar situations are happening now. So a lot of people were saying that she was supporting police brutality because one thing is our country is brutal with the police can be brutal here too, but there at least seems to be some type of trying to make sure that it doesn't happen, right? Or at least like the reason for the controversy is that.
Well, can I say something before we go into the other reasons for the controversy? So I've been hearing a lot about what's going on in with Hong Kong and mainland China and all that, and I gotta say, as an American, or as someone viewing it from America or from an American lens, the story hasn't caught my attention, if that doesn't sound callous to say, right? Like it hasn't been presented to me in a way that I can look at it and say, oh, I get why people are mad about this. yeah, I can't support this. And I think until it becomes important enough to mainstream media outlets to tell us why this is wrong or why something's going on, you're going to have people who are going to be like, oh, it sucks, but it's Mulan.
And I think that if you think about it, it does make sense because so we have a lot of support around the world when it comes to the protests for Black Lives Matter. We do. You see photos and videos of people doing, you know, in Australia, in England, in Japan. I believe there was one in Mexico where they're just doing kind of those kind of protests. Which there is a gentleman that was recently killed, and I'll try to get his name, who was actually killed in a similar fashion in Mexico. And so it's kind of like certain things resonate like that. But I think one of the issues I will say with us here is if something happens in Africa, we could sympathize. And by we, I mean like there's a Black community that could sympathize with it a lot more, right? Because those people look like you, right? Please, nobody get offended by me saying those people. But
oh, well, sorry, guys. Zoom only shows the active speaker, so you're not seeing me nod my head. But yes, I am nodding in agreement.
So you so you see, like, you know, so we could sympathize. Like, say for me, with that gentleman being killed, even though I feel bad that I don't know his name off the bat, but he was killed, right? I could sympathize with him because I'm Mexican American, right? And I think the issue is here is I don't think the Asian community is as, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I'm not going to say active, but it's just like their issues aren't at the forefront.
Vocal?
They're vocal.
Well, but I think part of that too is, to use a word that I feel like I've repeated a lot since we started doing ZZ Talk, the Asian community is not monolithic. The Asian community is made up of, you know, very many different people, biggest of which would be your Koreans, your Japanese, your Chinese, so on and so forth. So you're not going to get this unified vocal outcry about what's going on there because it doesn't really apply to all the people that make up the Asian community here. And also, I think the ability to get news out of a country like China that really does clamp down on, you know, journalism and all that stuff, in a less oppressive way than it used to in the past, but it still does. They clamp down on the stuff that gets out of China, even on the internet. So when you talk about stories like that, it's hard for the people over here to know whether the stuff that's coming out is part of the propaganda machine, whether it's actual news that you can actually take at face value and say, yeah. So it's very hard to know what side to fall on because, you know, it's blurred.
Yeah, and I think I would definitely like to. We could actually do a ZZ feature with somebody from who actually can probably speak on those issues. Speak on that a little bit more than we would. So that's definitely something, because we obviously don't want to talk for a group that we don't know about. But it's always seemed like the Asian community's issues, for me at least, speaking as an American, have for some reason been ignored, right? And I think that adds to it. This kind of shows that, because we should be outraged by that, right? There's so the second thing with the Mulan controversy is that there seems to be internment camps in the particular area where they recorded that that locks up Muslims, right? So there's that controversy. And then so the question is, can we continue to be enjoying these type of films? Can we continue to enjoy these films with so I'm gonna repeat what I just said.
I heard everything you said.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. I heard everything you said. I turned off the camera because I was blowing my nose and I didn't want the camera to catch it.
Sorry, guys. This is something that probably we should have talked about in production. So
yeah, no, it's cool. Like, I'm human. I have codes. So let me address what you just
Real
said.
quickly, common cold though, not COVID.
Yeah. The code that used to exist all this time. So the question was, can we enjoy these things? The answer for me, right, is yes, but. Right. There was who was it? There was a comedian who said something about I don't know why I laughed at this because it's actually pretty terrible. But so Michael Jackson had a lot of allegations about him during his life about possible relations, possible improper relations with children, and this comedian said that those allegations seem pretty pretty believable, but I really love Michael Jackson's music. So how I get through the day is if I listen to a Michael Jackson song, I just donate to a charity that helps with these things, right? It seems.
So that wasn't Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle did speak on that.
Yeah, it wasn't Dave Chappelle.
I think I've heard that before. I think I've heard that. So I don't.
And yeah, we make light of it, but where I fall on this is it's important to be informed, right? And it's really important to be informed because especially if you internally, with your internal compass, listen to what's being alleged and you come to a place where you're like, I can't support this because of what's being alleged, then your internal compass will make you not enjoy it. And there you go, problem solved. But if you can hear about this, you know, you're informed and you still enjoy it, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're able to compartmentalize possible brutality with, good entertainment.
Yeah, because honestly, so I enjoyed the movie a lot. I really did. And then this came out and I was like, ugh, damn it, really? But it's kind of like, all right, so in a similar fashion, you love sports, right? You love soccer. The World Cup is going to happen. And the World Cup is going to happen in, now is it the next World Cup or is it 2024? When's the next World Cup?
It's 2022.
And it's going to be in Qatar, right?
It's going to be in Qatar, and that's why it's being played in November, because their summers are way too hot. So they moved it to winter months.
So I could tell you right now, I'm not as big of a soccer fan as I want to, because I actually do want to enjoy the sport just because it's such a big sport. It's like, honestly, I mean, man, you guys have something to watch almost every single day, it seems. Because they play year round and all that stuff. So you know what I mean. So like it's something that I do, and I do enjoy when I get into it. When I get into a particular team or I get into a particular game, I do enjoy it. I have enjoyed some World Cups. I have watched some World Cups. Mostly it's always the finales, but I've watched them. I've enjoyed them. But the World Cup is going to happen in Qatar, and I could tell you right now, as somebody who has read up on the violations that they've supposedly done, the human rights violations that they supposedly have done, right? I say supposedly because I can't confirm it for a fact, but against immigrants from different countries, Pakistan, a lot of times, I believe Iraq, and even India. They're bringing in these people, and supposedly what they're doing is they take their passports away so they can't leave. They're paying them basically indentured servant type of money where, you have to pay this amount, but you have to pay this much rent. And for myself, I don't think I will watch the World Cup. Maybe I'll watch a game, but I'm not going to go into it the way I usually go into every other World Cup, where I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to definitely watch a game, because I'm like, that's a World Cup. I'm going to try to watch a game. I've been doing that since like the early 2000s, right? I'm like, I'm going to watch a game, even if I don't know what the freaking rules are. I'm still going to watch a game, and I watch a game. But the WWE, they performed some pay-per-views in I believe it's Qatar, and think it's Qatar, and if not, it might be another one. That'll be a correction where I'll know for sure the actual one. But they do shows there, right? Their women can't go perform there because they're not allowed to. And if they perform there, so you've seen wrestling, you see how the women dress, right? They and I'm not over here one of those like prudes and saying, oh, these women dress, no, they dress midsection showing, minimal shorts, whatever, When they go perform over there, they have to put on long shirts. Yeah, they have to put long sleeve shirts, and they're loose too. They're like, they can't really show that much skin.
Yeah,
they're loose. That's the only way they can perform, and that's after they performed like 1 or 2 shows. Before, the women didn't even get to go. Right. So there's that, but then that's at the same time.
But for the WWE, because I know that you're a fan, do you skip those?
I don't watch them.
You don't watch them, okay.
I don't watch them.
And you said that you normally catch like at least a game or whatever from the World Cup. So even if the U.S. is playing, even if they qualify, because we know that's not a given, but even if they qualify, you're not gonna watch it?
I don't know if I will. Okay. I really don't. I really don't. And that's the problem, right? Like you said, it's like I can compartmentalize like the issue, but with my wanting to be entertained, right? And it's not. I mean, some people might think I'm a POS for that, but that's also just part of just the flaws of my humanity, where I still would like to catch this game, despite the fact that I know this country did that, because they're the ones that the FIFA president or whatnot got booted for, right?
Yeah, for corruption regarding how they got the bid in the first place to be able to host the World Cup. Sepp Blatter was the one that got booted for that. And I think even the one following him, Gianni Infantino. But so I don't want to go too far away from this just yet. You said some people might think you're POS, and it doesn't mean point of sale. People might think you're POS for saying that, well, I know this is bad, but I can compartmentalize and still enjoy it.
There's always going to be those people that think that. Well, that those might be at this extreme.
Well, do you think that it's okay for them to have that, to think that someone is a piece of S because
I think, first of all, you're allowed to have your own opinions about anything, right? Like that's one thing. You can have your opinions if you want. I can disagree with them. Or even if there's, like, let's just say that person I might not pay attention to who thinks I'm just a piece of crap for doing that, right? Like, watching, I'm like, but I'm also just watching soccer. Guess what? Those people who are playing on the field aren't the ones doing this stuff, right? The same way with, even though the production might have happened in that place where in the internment camps are, do we know? We don't know. I don't think that they were actually actively, like the people in the production company were actively doing that. The actors were actively doing that, right? Yeah. Putting them in the internment camps. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, I could still try to honor or at least watch them for doing their work with this being in the background. But I think the fact that there are going to be people who don't like that, who do want to protest that is something that's necessary, because moving forward, hopefully Disney decides, you know what, this was too much controversy. Because first of all, they already lost a lot of money with this anyways, because I looked at the budget. I didn't realize that the Mulan was like the highest, I think it's one of their highest, like the most expensive live action
remake.
Yeah, live action remake at $200 million, and they've only gotten to like I think $85 million or something like that. So
part of it is
they're not going to.
Yeah,
no, a lot of it is COVID, because I'm pretty sure that it would have been in billions if it had been released in theaters. But it's just, we can still enjoy the art. We could still watch it, especially if you're ignorant to the fact that this is what was going on. But you still do owe it to yourself, I think, to look into it and find out what is going on here. And then what is me boycotting Mulan going to do about those internment camps?
Yeah, well, which, I mean, I think it actually does a lot. I think if they actually lose money, okay, let me rephrase. It doesn't do a lot for the internment camps.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It might do a lot to stop American companies from almost like saying that, hey, we're going to look the other way on things that you do. And Disney is not the only company that looks away from, I'm going to keep it I'm going to say alleged, right? Disney's the only company that looks away from alleged atrocities by the Chinese, by the Chinese government, right? We've been hearing this about the NBA too. It's been weaponized by people who want to, muddy the NBA stance on Black Lives Matter. It's been weaponized by those people to say, oh, you care about Black Lives Matter, but you don't speak about the Chinese government. Fair point, except that you only care about it because you don't want to talk about Black Lives Matter.
And not only that, but you don't actually care about that issue. You just care about countering the Black Lives Matter issue.
Exactly. It's a protest to their protest.
Exactly. It's not you're not protesting what's going on. You're protesting what you don't like.
Right. So I do believe that if they see that it's a money pit to kind of turn a blind eye to injustices by some of these governments, then maybe they will do better in the future and not give money to oppressive regimes and stuff like that. Yeah. That being said, I want to ask you, do you feel like it's everyone's duty to like if they get an article or a post like the one I sent you on Facebook, where it shows where this guy has a Twitter thread detailing all the issues with Mulan, where he talks about the side of the genocide against Muslims in the Xinjiang region, talking about the Uighur minorities and such. Do you feel like it is everyone's duty, if they've been made aware of this, to actually read up on it? Or is it okay for them to just be like, nah, I'm not going to read up on it?
If you know that this is a possibility, I say yes. Obviously, if you don't know, then you don't know about the article because you don't know about the issue.
Right. If no one sent it to you, then you get.
But one of the reasons why now I'm kind of bothered by this is because one of the posts that I saw from my friend who's Muslim, she says, I'm not watching Mulan. I'm a Muslim. I'm not watching Mulan. I'm protesting it. So now that's what's in my subconscious. Now that's the reason why I haven't watched the movie again.
Yeah, and you almost feel like, well, I'm not trying to tell you how you feel, but I'm saying in certain cases you would almost feel like by supporting this movie, am I being a bad friend to my Muslim friend who clearly cares enough about this to boycott the movie?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have. So we're not going to go into the politics yet, but you have friends who it hurts when you have friends who support Donald Trump's ideas on immigration. It hurts me because you're talking about my family, you're talking about my friends, you're talking about people I don't know, but you're talking about people that look like my, kids that look like my kids, and it's just. It's hurtful when you have people just vehemently backing him up, acting like, oh, yeah, we got to get rid of them. I was like, so you're saying you got to get rid of me? Just because I'm a citizen doesn't mean he's not really targeting me, because the target of immigration, of status, of your legal status, it's just a mask to the xenophobia. Yeah. It's just something for the xenophobia to be hooked into, to have that type of, excuse.
Or from an African
immigration is the excuse.
Yeah, or from an African perspective, when he says, shithole countries, and then you have supporters backing it up like, well, I guess they are shithole countries. Like, come on,
yeah, exactly. It's just like
so. Let's not go into the politics section just yet. I do want to kind of express my experience with trying to avoid reading about something so that I could still enjoy that something. It even feels bad just acknowledging it. But I really, really used to like R. Kelly's music. And look, I'm not kidding. I used to love R. Kelly's music, and but then it got to the point where like the allegations against him were just inescapable. And there was a thing that came out on Lifetime, I think.
Yeah, the one where they were talking about him having slaves and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I avoided that like the plague because I didn't want to not be able to listen.
Oh, so you didn't watch it?
No, well, I didn't at the time because I didn't want to not be able to listen to Bump and Grind. so finally, I finally watched it, and it got to a point where I couldn't listen to Bump and Grind or Step in the Name of Love or Trapped in the Closet or anything without always thinking back to that documentary. Yeah. And it literally, my body basically rejected the music henceforth. So I can't enjoy R. Kelly music anymore. So it's one of those where I actively try to avoid it. And I think that it is, at a certain point, you're almost promoting it, or what's the word? You're almost condoning it. If someone is presenting you with evidence of wrongdoing and you do your best to avoid that evidence, then you're kind of condoning that wrongdoing, you know? So, and I've been guilty of it, so.
No, okay. So just basically, the thing that we're saying is when it comes to these kind of things, let your conscience be your guide. So if you feel guilty about watching it, don't watch it. If you don't feel guilty about watching it, read up some articles so you can start feeling guilty about it.
Yes.
So anyways, all right, cool. So